Let's start in Cape Town now, where women and men from different backgrounds have come together to a march to Parliament. It's part of the Kwanele Foundation's nationwide campaign against gender-based violence. eNCA's Ronald Masinda is there and joins us now live. Ronald, tell us what's happening there now.
Masako, very good morning. Well, enough is enough. That's the loud message that millions of South African women continue to echo as they want to see an end to the scourge of gender-based violence. And here in Cape Town, quite a large crowd has gathered. And one of the main reasons why they've gathered here, they are also getting self-defense classes to defend themselves if they are in a situation of being attacked by the perpetrators. I am now joined by a couple of guests. I'm going to start off with the founder of Fight Back SA. I'm joined by Bronwyn Litkin. Bronwyn, thank you so much for your time. We saw quite a demonstration of people receiving those lessons. Is that part of your campaign? And tell us more.
That's actually Fight Back SA. We are SA Women Fight Back, but it's one of the organizations that we hold hands with. Today we had 25 organizations coming together to stand against gender-based violence, and this is going to be a growing thing, you know. We've had enough, so we're not slowing down, we're getting momentum actually.
Last year I was here when there was quite a lot of uproar, a lot of protest action, yes. And that follows quite a number of prominent cases of young women being killed. Oinen and Mkhotyana comes to mind. What has since been done by South Africa and also government? Do you feel more needs to be done?
Oh, most definitely. You know, there's been slight changes to the legislation, but they're so vague. You know, just making something a slightly stronger sentence is not enough. Does that mean that you add 1 year onto their sentencing, you know? We were promised things like mobile courts. We were promised things like better DNA labs so that these cases can be processed quicker and victims don't have to go through the trauma. The way the system is currently working is that victims are treated like perpetrators, and this needs to stop. Cyril Ramaphosa made us 16 promises 1 year ago, and we have not seen one of them transpire. And he has to stick to his word. He stood in front of a nation and he made those promises, and he has to stick to his word.
Finally, what's the next step? Obviously, we are commemorating 16 days of activism. What are you hoping to see, you know, in terms of the large crowd here? What are the outcomes you're hoping to see?
Look, you know, when we do these protests, this is giving women a voice. This is making people feel empowered. You know, the work we're doing on the ground, one of the things we're doing is we want to start backing the police a bit more and helping them. They're doing a sterling job, but they're under a lot of flack. So yeah, we've got a lot of plans in the new year, and this is the first thing we've had with the 25 organizations together. And you can see the great people of South Africa, Langa for Men, and we're hoping to keep this going over the next few years, or until forever, I suppose, until we can actually start to see the changes our country needs.
Masako, I'm going to bring in another activist into the conversation. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. Talk us through about your attire, first of all, because you came here dressed.
Good morning, I'm Venetia Ojo. I reign from Mitchell's Plain. My chains is my trademark when it comes to activism, for the mere fact that this is the way our communities are chained. We are chained as women. I come from abuse. I've been raped. I'm an overcomer. I'm not a victim. I have never seen myself as a victim. I have 2 grandchildren who has been victims, who is victims. They're still in court after 3 years, which is so painful. And this is what the chains is all about. We are so chained, and it is amazing the amount of weight we as women carry on us. We need to be wives, we need to be girlfriends, we need to be sisters, we need to be aunties, we need to be grandmothers. We need to be ladies, which God has actually created us to be. But yet we carry a burden of being a victim every time we walk. So many people ask me, what is the yellow police tape for? This is what women walk around, and we automatically don't know when we become a crime scene. And this is what I represent, is the crime scenes that is daily of our children, our mothers, our sisters, our grandmothers. If I think of the one case in Mitchell's Plain I just read on social media, a 93-year-old Oma that has been abused by allegedly a family member who looked after her. It is sad. If I think of that mother in the Eastern Cape, I think, or somewhere, who was murdered with all her children just a couple of hours ago.
The murder rate and rape cases are quite rife in Mitchell's Plain, and it's been well documented. But what are men are saying? Should we see more men coming to these marches?
My personal thing is, yes, we should. Actually, we women are to blame. I'm going to say it out loud. We don't want men to march with us. It's not all men that are rapists. I call them males that is rapists. There's many good men out there. There's many good men that wants to be there for us. And we need to accept them. Because we mothers need to teach our children not to be rapists. And people get angry with me when I say it, but that's who I am. I'm an activist of rights. And we as women need to take up our rights. We need to discover our power in the fact that we rear our boy childs, not to be a rapist.
In closing, you did mention earlier on that you're also a victim of rape. How did you manage to overcome that ordeal, and what message would you like to send to children and to young women who've experienced this ordeal?
Look, I was raped within my marriage. And sometimes we as women don't think it is rape, we think it's our duty. But when you as a woman has been verbally and physically abused, there is no way that you want to actually sleep with that same man. So yes, that's what I eventually heard and understood. That was rape. Overcoming it, it was, I decided I wanted to forgive myself and be happy.
Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. Well, Masego, I'm going to quickly step out of shot just to also give the viewers a sense of what's happening in the background. And we've heard so many of these very sad, somber stories about young women being raped as well from other people that we managed to speak to. And they say now is the time to really tell government that enough is enough. We do know that the planned protesters will try and hand in a memorandum to Parliament here on Wednesday this coming week. But also just to add, Masego, that the defence classes that we saw on display here will be done across the Western Cape, especially in the hardest hit communities experiencing gender-based violence, communities such as Khayelitsha and Mitchell's Plain, where the lady I just spoke to now, as well as across the Cape Flats. And it's a really sad situation that in 2020 we are still talking about the scourge of gender-based violence. I mean, late last year, we witnessed quite a large group, thousands in fact, of protesters for the same cause, to try and end gender-based violence. And we also saw President Cyril Ramaphosa coming to that protest to address protesters that things will change. But seemingly not a lot has changed in trying to fight the scourge of gender-based violence.